Well, during the Queen's 70 years on the throne, she visited Canada 22 times, including a couple here to Hamilton. Tonight, part one of a CHCH News special on the Queen. Our Matt Ingram has a look back at the life, legacy, and the impact of Her Majesty on our area.
Even before she became the Queen, Elizabeth II made a promise.
I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service and the service of our great imperial family to which we all belong.
A promise she has now kept for 70 years, marking her platinum jubilee at the age of 96. She ascended the throne in 1952 after the death of her father, King George VI, becoming queen at just 25 years old. She was crowned in 1953 in the first televised coronation. In the decades since, she has seen 14 British prime ministers come and go, along with 12 Canadian prime ministers. She's already the longest reigning British monarch, and come 2024, she will become the longest reigning monarch from any country in recorded history. King Louis XIV of France ruled for 72 years.
To go on for 7 decades uninterrupted really speaks to the success of her ability to lead.
McMaster University royal historian Justin Volk says her lengthy reign is a testament to the Queen's ability to adapt to changing circumstances. While other European monarchies were falling in the early 20th century, Volk says the British royal family learned it must change to survive.
And that is a legacy that the Queen not only has latched onto, but also has furthered throughout her 70 years.
Volk says the Queen has worked to modernize the monarchy and connect with people.
I think that's part of her success and the longevity of her reign, because she is this incredible connective person that links Hamilton, Niagara, to Vancouver, to Newfoundland, to Australia and New Zealand.
That connectivity is exemplified through her special interest in the Commonwealth, the group of former British colonies, including Canada, that evolved out of the British Empire.
The Commonwealth has been such a fundamental part of her leadership and what she believes is her call to promote solidarity, inclusivity, and unity among these states.
While she's an ocean away, the Queen has connections to our communities right here in the Golden Horseshoe and has visited our region several times. First was in 1951 when she was still a princess. Thousands gathered at Hamilton Civic Stadium, where Tim Hortons Field sits today, to greet her and her husband, Prince Philip. Here she is taking a photo with then Hamilton Mayor Lloyd Jackson.
Now Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II.
She was back at Civic Stadium in 1959 as Queen, again greeted by thousands of people eager to get a look. She inspected Hamilton's Argyll and Sutherland military regiment, of which she has been Colonel-in-Chief since 1951, contending with a stiff breeze that forced the Queen to hold down her dress.
But the Queen, in her gracious manner, of course, is ready for any and every occasion, as you can see.
She then presented the regiment with their new colors, the flags that symbolize the regiment's history. In 2002, she made her final trip to our region, making a stop at Sheridan College in Oakville, where she visited students from the animation department and journalism new media program.
She walked into the control room and she smiled, and we showed her some of the technology that we were streaming over the World Wide Web, and she asked if that was the internet, and she laughed when I curtsied.
Next, she went to Copps Coliseum, now called First Ontario Centre, where 17,000 people waited 3 hours to see her. She once again presented the Argylls with new colors, then unveiled a new granite stone memorial marking the Argylls' 100th anniversary. That stone now sits in a pavilion at Bayfront Park.
Remembering particularly those who gave their lives during 2 world wars. Its location in such a prominent place within the city of Hamilton will provide a continuing link between the regiment and the city from which it draws its strength.
That close connection with the Argylls and Hamilton has continued. In one of Hamilton's darkest moments, Her Majesty reached out to show her support. After Corporal Nathan Cirillo was gunned down guarding the National War Memorial in Ottawa, the Queen invited former Argyll Honorary Colonel Ron Foxcroft, along with Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence Hatfield and Honorary Lieutenant Colonel Rick Kennedy to come to Buckingham Palace so she could express her condolences personally.
We had an audience with Queen Elizabeth, which was very, very emotional. What really got to my heart during this conversation, obviously she expressed condolences on the passing of Corporal Cirillo, but she said, you know, the best trained reservists in the world are Canadians.
Just last weekend, before the Ticats' first preseason game, the Argylls, along with Hamilton sporting greats like Cecilia Carter-Smith, participated in the passing of the Queen's baton, which traveled to 70 countries before arriving in Hamilton as its final stop. It's now headed back to the Queen for ceremonial use in the Birmingham Commonwealth Games. Hamilton hosted the very first games back in 1930, where this stadium now stands. Glenn Gibson is the current honorary colonel of the Argylls.
You know, I think there's people that maybe do not see the affinity to the Commonwealth that used to be there. But I think when you're actually at events where she's in attendance or the royal family is, it's an amazing experience to see people light up and want to meet her and really look at her messaging. Her messaging is all just very solid stuff.
It's a message of service and duty that has inspired many around the world, including right here in Hamilton, Halton, and Niagara. Matt Ingram, CHCH News, Hamilton.